So pre-fertilization events includes gametogenesis, cell division during gamete formation, gamete transfer and sexuality in organism. The process of formation of gamete is called as gametogenesis. Another standard definition, process of formation of haploid gametes from diploid germ cells by meiosis in gonads is called as gametogenesis. Gonads are nothing but reproductive structures. For example, testes in male body, ovaries in case of female body. Gonads are nothing but reproductive structures. Example, testes in case of male, ovary in case of female. Now, I will explain types of gametes. So, gametes are of two types. Isogametes, or you can call it as a homogametes. Another type is anisogametes or heterogametes. Gametes are of two types, isogametes and anisogametes. Instead of that, you can also utilize the term homogametes and heterogametes. When male and female gametes, are morphologically and physiologically similar, then it is called as isogametes. When male and female gametes are morphologically and physiologically, when male and female gametes are morphologically and physiologically similar, then it is called as isogametes. Homo means same. Example is algae. Next, anisogametes. When male and female gametes are morphologically and physiologically different, then it is called as anisogametes, or you can call it as a heterogametes. When male and female gametes are morphologically and physiologically different, then it is called as anisogametes. Example is fucus. It is a kind of algae or algae. Fucus is a kind of algae. Another classic example is humans. So gametes are of two types, isogametes and anisogametes. Iso means similar or homo means same. When male and female gametes are morphologically and physiologically similar, then it is called as isogametes. Example is some algae. When male and female gametes are morphologically and physiologically different, then it is called as anisogametes or heterogametes. Example is fucus, it is an algae. Another classic example is human beings. So please remember one more point which they are mentioned in your NCERT syllabus. Male gamete or sperm is also called as anthrozoites. Male gametes or sperms is also called as anthrozoites. Female gamete is also called as egg or ovum. Female gamete is also called as egg or ovum. Now move to next matter, cell division during gamete formation. Cell division during gamete formation. Gametes are always haploid in nature, but the plant body gametes Now look over cell division during gamete formation. Cell division during gamete formation. You know already, gametes are always haploid in nature. Haploid means it contains a single set of chromosome. Gametes are haploid in nature. Haploid means it contains a single set of chromosome. But the plant body from which they are derived may be either haploid or diploid. Gametes are always haploid in nature. Haploid means it contains a single set of chromosome. But the plant body from which they are derived may be either haploid or diploid. Haploid parent produces gametes. Haploid parent produces gametes by mitosis, whereas the diploid parent produces gametes by meiosis. Look over once again. Cell division during gamete formation. Gametes are always haploid in nature, but the plant body from which they are derived may be either haploid or diploid. Haploid plant body produces gametes by mitosis, whereas a diploid parent produces gametes by meiosis. You know already major difference. At the end of mitosis, 2 daughter cells are produced, but at the end of meiosis, 4 daughter cells are produced which are haploid in nature. Example, members of Monera, fungi and bryophytes. Example for diploid, pteridophytes, gymnosperms, angiosperms and some animals. Example for the diploid parent is pteridophytes, gymnosperms, angiosperms and animals. Now next matter is gamete transfer. After formation of male and female gamete, after formation of male and female gametes, after formation of male and female gametes, they are brought together to facilitate fertilization. After formation of male and female gametes, they are brought together to facilitate fertilization. In majority of the cases, male gametes are motile. In majority of the cases, male gametes are motile. Majority means except algae and fungi. In majority of the cases, male gametes are motile and female gametes are stationary, or you can call it as a non-motile. As a result, they are in need of certain agencies, or you can call it as agents such as water, wind, animals. In case of angiosperm, male gametes are carried by the pollen tube. In case of angiosperm, male gametes are carried by the pollen tube. We'll repeat this matter once again. Look over the gamete transfer. After the formation of male and female gametes, they are brought together to facilitate fertilization. In majority of the cases, male gametes are motile and female gametes are stationary. They require certain agencies or agents such as water, wind, animals. But in case of angiosperm, male gametes are carried by the pollen tube. Male gametes are carried by the pollen tube. How it is transferred, how fertilization is noticed in angiosperm, that you will come to know in my next chapter, sexual reproduction in flowering plants. Sexual reproduction in flowering plants. Now look over the last matter, gamete transfer. Last matter is sexuality in organism. Third step is gamete transfer. Fourth one is sexuality in organisms. Sexuality in organisms. Now look over the last point in fertilization event. As you know already, in fertilization you have come across three main linings. One is pre-fertilization, that is before fertilization. Second is fertilization. Third is post-fertilization event. Under that already three steps have come across. Now look over the last one, sexuality in organism. Under that, you know already flower. Flower is an highly condensed modified shoot, specially meant for sexual reproduction. Flower is a modified shoot, specially meant for sexual reproduction, which distinguish angiosperm from rest of the group of flowering plants. Now look at the last line in pre-fertilization events. Sexuality in organism. Flower is a highly condensed modified shoot, specially meant for sexual reproduction, which distinguish angiosperm from rest of the group of plants. A typical flower, typical means it is composed of all the character, or it show all the characters. Typical means it will show all the character. A typical flower is composed of four parts: calyx, corolla, androecium and gynoecium. A typical flower is composed of four parts: calyx, corolla, androecium and gynoecium. Members of the calyx are called as sepals. Members of the corolla are called as petals. Members of the androecium are called as stamens. Members of the androecium are called as stamens. Members of the gynoecium are called as carpels. Now look over bisexual, unisexual, monoecious, dioecious. Then I am going to introduce unisexual and bisexual with respect to animals. Bisexual, bi means two. Before that, try to recollect few points which I come across in PUC first year chapter morphology of flowering plants. Out of 4, lower 2 floral orals. Out of 4, lower 2 floral orals are called as non-essential floral orals because they are not directly involved in sexual reproduction, whereas androecium and gynoecium are called as essential orals because they are directly involved in sexual reproduction. If all the 4 floral orals are present, then the flower is described as complete flower. If all the 4 floral orals are present, then the flower is described as complete flower. If any one of the oral is missing, then it is called as incomplete flower. Now look over the technical term bisexual. When the flower is having both androecium and gynoecium, then it is called as bisexual. When the flower possesses both androecium and gynoecium, then it is called as bisexual. When the flower is having only one essential oral, then it is called as unisexual. They are further classified into 2 types. When the flower is having only one essential oral, then it is called as unisexual. They are of 2 types. One is staminate, another one is pistillate. Male flower, female flower. Next, 2 more technical terms: monoecious and dioecious. When staminate and pistillate flowers, are present on the same plant, then it is called as monoecious. When staminate and pistillate flowers are present on the same plant, then it is called as monoecious. Two classic examples are coconuts and cucurbita. When staminate and pistillate flowers are present in different plants of the same species, when staminate and pistillate flowers are present on the same plant, then it is called as monoecious. Example, coconut and cucurbita. When staminate and pistillate flowers are present in different plants of the same species, then it is called as dioecious. Example is papaya and date palm, similar to that of the plants. You can also notice unisexual and bisexuality in case of animals. Unisexual, it is having only one sex. For example, cockroach. Bisexual is also called as hermaphrodite. When male and female reproductive structures, when male and female reproductive structure are present in the same organism, then it is called as hermaphrodite. So many examples are there, out of which I selected few examples like tapeworm, earthworms, Indian cattle leech and sponges. That ends first event in sexual reproduction, that is pre-fertilization event. Pre-fertilization event. Right, now look over next matter, second event in sexual reproduction, fertilization. Union of male and female gamete is called as fertilization. Union of male and female gamete is called as fertilization, and the resultant cell is called as zygote. Union of male and female gamete is called as fertilization, and the resultant cell is called as zygote. Fertilization are of two types. One is external fertilization, another one is internal fertilization. Union or fusion of male and female gametes. Male and female gamete is called as fertilization, and the resultant cell is called as zygote. Fertilization are of two types. One is external fertilization, second is internal fertilization. If the fertilization takes place outside the body of female, if the fertilization takes place outside the body of female, then it is called as external fertilization. Example, amphibians. Example, amphibians. So fertilization are of two types, external fertilization and internal fertilization. If the fertilization takes place outside the body of female, then it is called as external fertilization. Classic example is amphibians. Under that, one example which I come across in first year is frog. Scientific name is Rana hexadactyla or Rana tigrina. So in external fertilization, more number of gametes are produced. In external fertilization, more number of gametes are produced to enhance the rate of fertilization. In external fertilization, more number of gametes are produced to enhance the rate of fertilization, and even more number of offsprings are produced in external fertilization because they are vulnerable to predators. So later you will come to know this predation. Just I will provide you one definition. Predation is a biological interaction where the larger species, so-called predator, will attack, kill and feed on the smaller species, so-called prey. In external fertilization, more number of gametes are produced to enhance the rate of fertilization. And in external fertilization, more number of offsprings are produced because they are vulnerable to predators. Predation is a biological interaction where the larger species, so-called predator, will attack, kill and feed on the smaller species, so-called prey. Next, internal fertilization. If the fertilization takes place inside the body of female, then it is called as internal fertilization. Example is human beings. If the fertilization takes place inside the body of female, then it is called as internal fertilization. Example is human beings. In internal fertilization, chances of survival is more. In internal fertilization, chances of survival is more. example is human beings. I would like to provide one important line here. In internal fertilization, more number of male gametes are produced, but limited number of female gametes are produced. Therefore, production of offspring is limited. Production of offspring is limited. Now look over the next matter. Zygote. Union of male and female gamete is called as fertilization, and the resultant cell is called as zygote. Okay. So, in case of plants with haplontic life cycle, it will undergo meiosis and produces haploid spores. Plants with haplontic life cycle, zygote will undergo meiosis and produces haploid spores. It will germinate and produces new individual. But whereas in case of algae and fungi, zygote is covered by a thick wall. Zygote is covered by a thick wall which is having resistance to desiccation. As soon as the environmental conditions are favorable back once again, it will produce new individual. Look over the point once again. Union of male and female gamete is called as fertilization, and the resultant cell is called as zygote. Plants with haplontic life cycle, zygote will undergo meiosis and produces haploid spores, which germinate and produces new individual. Whereas in case of algae and fungi, zygote is covered by a thick wall. Zygote is covered by a thick wall which is having resistance to desiccation. As soon as the environmental conditions are favorable back once again, they will germinate and produces new individuals. Next matter, two technical terms are there. Take care. So because they may arise this question in the exam. Sexual reproduction in which the fusing gametes are similar. Sexual reproduction in which the fusing gametes are similar is called as conjugation, and the resultant zygote is called as zygospore. Sexual reproduction in which the fusing gametes are similar is called as conjugation, and the resultant zygote is called as zygospore. Sexual reproduction in which the fusing gametes are dissimilar is called as syngamy, and the resultant zygote is called as oospore. Sexual reproduction in which the fusing gametes are similar is called as conjugation, and the resultant zygote is called as zygospore. Sexual reproduction dissimilar is called as syngamy, and the resultant zygote is called as oospore. Last, one more step is there, post-fertilization events. That I will switch over in my next class. Thank you. As you know already, with respect to this reproduction in organism is concerned, so in my second class I come across vegetative propagates. Under that, I put forward around 10 examples: rhizome, tuber, bulb, corm, runner, stolon, offset, sucker, bulbil, reproductive leaf, bryophyllum. Followed by that, you have come across definition of sexual reproduction, alternate names. Then you have come across events in sexual reproduction. So sexual reproduction involves 3 events. Number 1, pre-fertilization events. Second, fertilization. Third is post-fertilization events. So in my previous class, we have come across pre-fertilization event and fertilization events. Now look over post-fertilization events. Post-fertilization means the events which occur after fertilization. Events which occur after fertilization is called as post-fertilization events. Under that, first is embryogenesis. Then I will discuss post-fertilization events in case of plants. The process of formation of embryo from zygote is called as embryogenesis. The process of formation of embryo, from zygote is called as embryogenesis. The process of formation of embryo from zygote is called as embryogenesis. Embryogenesis involves two steps. One is cell division, second is cell differentiation. Or zygote will undergo cell division and cell differentiation to form embryo. Zygote will undergo cell division and cell differentiation to form embryo. Here the cell division which occurs is mitosis. So in first year you have come across, at the end of mitosis only two daughter cells are produced, which are qualitatively and quantitatively similar. Cell division increases the number of cells. Cell division increases the number of cells to undergo certain modification to form a specialized tissues and organs to form an organism. Zygote will undergo cell division and cell differentiation to form embryo. So embryo is nothing but a multicellular zygote. Embryo is nothing but a multicellular zygote. So based on that, it is very clear that all the multicellular organisms will start their life with single cell and becomes multicellular through repeated cell division. All the multicellular organisms starts their life with single cell, that is zygote, and becomes multicellular through repeated cell division. Or cell division increases the number of cells to undergo certain modifications to form a specialized tissue and organs to form an organism. Back to first year. Already we have come across a definition of tissue in anatomy of flowering plants. So tissue is a group of cells with a common origin, structure and function. Next I will enter into post-fertilization changes in case of plants. Post-fertilization changes in case of plants. Post-fertilization changes in plants. Post-fertilization changes in plants. Number 1. You know already a typical flower is composed of 4 parts: calyx, corolla, androecium and gynoecium. Members of the calyx are called as sepals. Members of the corolla are called as petals. Members of the androecium are called as stamens. First change after post-fertilization in plant, zygote will develop into embryo. Zygote will undergo cell division and cell differentiation to form embryo. Second, sepals, petals and stamens. Sepals, petals and stamens wither and they fall off. Second important change, sepals, petals and stamens wither and they will fall off. Third, ovary will develop into fruit. After fertilization, ovary will develop into fruit. Back to first year, I am expecting that you have remembered fruit is covered by a wall known as pericarp. The name pericarp is derived from Greek. Peri means surrounding, carpos means fruit. Outer cover of the fruit is called as pericarp outer cover of the fruit is called as pericarp. It may be an thin or it may be an thick. After fertilization, zygote will undergo cell division and cell differentiation to form embryo. Sepals, petals and stamens wither and they will fall off. Third, ovary will develop into fruit, and fruit is covered by a thick wall or it may be a thin wall known as pericarp. Peri means surrounding, carpos means fruit. Outer cover of the fruit is called as pericarp. It may be a thin or it may be a thick. Fourth, ovules will form seed. Ovules. After fertilization, ovules will develop into seeds. After fertilization, ovules will develop into seeds. One more change or one more post-fertilization events I will discuss in second chapter, sexual reproduction in flowering plants. Sexual reproduction in flowering plants. Now look over the types of animals. Types of animals. Types of animals. There are two types of animals are there. One is oviparous. Second is viviparous. Now look over the types of animals. Type of animals. Oviparous animals and viviparous animals. Oviparous and viviparous. Oviparous means egg laying. Egg laying animals. Oviparous means egg laying animals. Animals are of two groups. One is oviparous, second is viviparous. Oviparous means egg laying animals. Egg laying animals. Two classic examples are birds and reptiles. Birds and reptiles. In oviparous, egg is covered by an calcareous sheath. Egg is covered by an calcareous shell. In case of oviparous, egg is covered by a calcareous shell. Calcareous means it is made up of calcium. Second type, viviparous. Viviparous means they will give birth directly to the young ones. Viviparous means they will give birth directly to the young ones. Example is human beings. Chances of survival is more in the viviparous animal when comparing with oviparous animal because of the embryonic care. Because of embryonic care and protection. Chances of survival is more in viviparous animal when comparing with oviparous because of embryonic care and protection. Because of embryonic care and protection. So that ends types of animals. Now look over one more technical term, parthenogenesis. Parthenogenesis. In certain organisms like rotifers, honeybees, especially male, some lizards and birds like turkeys. So now don't get confused with this word parthenocarpy with that of the parthenogenesis. Development of fruit without fertilization is called as parthenocarpic fruit, first year. But now look over parthenogenesis. In some organisms like rotifers, honeybees, some lizards and birds like turkeys, female gametes female gamete directly develop into female gametes directly develop into new individual. In parthenogenesis, female gamete will directly develop into new individuals without undergoing fertilization. Example is rotifers, honeybees, especially male, some lizards and birds like turkeys. So that ends the first chapter. Now I will provide you the matter or content which you have come across in overall first chapter. Initially, you have come across a definition of lifespan. Followed by that, I put forward a list of organisms with their lifespan. Then you have come across definition of reproduction and two types of reproduction: asexual reproduction and sexual reproduction. Under asexual reproduction definition, followed by that you have come across binary fission, multiple fissions, external budding, internal budding, zoospores, conidia, fragmentation. Followed by that you have come across vegetative propagation. Then I introduced sexual reproduction under that definition, and you have come across events in sexual reproduction. There are three groups: pre-fertilization events, fertilization, and post-fertilization events. Under post-fertilization events, I covered after fertilization, ovary will develop into fruit, ovules will develop into seeds, zygote will form embryo, sepals, petals and stamens wither and they will fall off. Followed by that, lastly we have come across a technical term, parthenogenesis.